Okay. So in the programming languages, we use these terminologies. We say something as class, we say something as functions, and we say something as methods. So anyone has heard about these terminologies? I like just the terminology is fine. Like, okay, yeah, I hear, but I know this one, or I may not know the meaning for these words. At least have you heard about this? Is this the familiar words that sounds for you? Okay, yes, from 1%. What about the others? Like, have you heard like what is mean by class or functions or methods? Okay, I see only from few people. Like, so there are still most of the crowd they don't even know what is class or what is function or what is method. Or if you don't know, that's fine. But at least you have heard or not even heard these words. Okay, then most of you have not even heard these words. Okay. Uh, so let me ask like this, like what is class in OOPS? I know you have not even heard or you're not aware of these words, but what you feel as class. So when you're doing your schooling, they will ask like what class are you in? So what that belongs to, like what it sounds like. This is very common. Like you may hear about this word, right? Like hey, what class you belongs to, or like what is your class? So what that means. So when you're in some eighth standard, what you will say, like what is your class? I'm expecting the answer. Okay, if someone asks you like what class are you in now, what class you will say, like you're in 12th standard or first year or second year, third year, second year. Okay. What about others? Okay. So only two person knows like what class they belongs to. Okay. Now four. What about others? They don't even know what class. Okay. Thanks for who have replied. And I'm expecting at least this question to answer from others. Like, okay. Sashidhar has told some answer for class. That's good. Okay. So some people told like what is their class, like first year, second year, third year, and all those things, right? And so what that means, like you're trying to say like I belongs to one group. Okay. Even though you are a student and you belong to a college, but still you segregate yourself or you isolate from some place and you say like, hey, I belongs to this group. When suddenly I ask you, right, hey, where you're from, even though you're from India, I know that, but suddenly you will again segregate and narrow it, and you will say, right, hey, I belongs to this village, I belongs to this city, I belongs to this state, something like that. You will classify yourself. So that classification, because you want to identify yourself as something and you want to showcase to the world where people can mostly know about you. Hey, where you're from, you will say like I'm from Chennai, I'm from Bangalore, I'm from Andhra, I'm from Karnataka, somewhere else. Like I know everyone are from India, but still you are narrowing down to one classification, so that we call it as a class. Same way, like in OOPS, there is something called as class, which is just the classification for some segment of the code. Okay. So I use some word, right? Oops. So what does mean by oops? Hopefully, like I think even 10th standard or 12th standard education may told what this mean by oops, right? Okay, good. I see like some are answering. Like what does mean by oops? Like It's not the oops. Oh, I'm late to the session, something like that. I'm asking like abbreviation for this acronym. Oops. Okay, I see some responded correctly. Good. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. So OOPS is nothing but object-oriented programming. On the second or third class, we discussed about a point like when some programming languages, when it satisfy a set of rules which is already measured, and when they clear that set of rules or when they satisfy that set of rules, then we say that language as object oriented programming language. Say like C has some support, whereas C sharp has some other support, correct? So C is not an object oriented programming language, but C sharp is an object oriented programming language. So it satisfies some condition. Um, Say like if you have a person who is applying for a police job, when he satisfied a written exam and some physical exam, he will be qualified for a constable. And when he when he clears some high level exams and when he qualifies for an better evaluation on physical examination, he will be considered for IPS and assistant commissioner ranking and all those things, right? Like the same person, same human being, when he clears some set of things, he will be considered to that role. Whereas when he achieves better than that, and if he satisfied all the questions asked and all the physical tests, then he will be considered a very high level. So the languages, some will be passing that lower consideration as a normal programming language, but few languages which will also satisfy the object oriented programming language. So there are some set of conditions to be passed. Okay, so C sharp is the one language which follow those conditions. So we call that as object oriented programming language. So mainly in object oriented programming language only you can hear about the terminology called as class. That's the reason when you know a language like C, you don't even hear about the terminology class. There is in C, there is no word called as class. Whereas in C sharp, we use the terminology called as class because it's an object oriented language. So there the class will be available. So, okay, now the fun part begins. What is this or who is this or what you feel? If you are not going to answer this question, then I don't know what to say. Because I can't ask a very easy question than this. Okay, good. Okay, I think, okay, good, nice answer. Okay, good. You can even put for chat for everyone, not just for me. That's fine. But still, I see like only like 25% of crowd is always messaging me back. Even you don't know like what about the other 75%? You don't even know who is this. You need a clue. Like till now, whoever answered, they all answered exactly right. I can give a clue if you want. But I never expected like you need a clue for this answer, but still it's a superstar. Or even clue only one is answering. Yeah, that's superstar Rajinikanth and it's Robo. I think it's 2.0, right? So what is this like? Why I want to bring him here in our technical session? So why I bought Rajini here, like this exact character of 2.0. Yeah, good Shashi there. So why I bought him here is like I'm going to compare an object-oriented programming, the concept of class with this Robo 2.0. It is not just the Rajni. I'm using the Robo 2.0, this Robo activity. Okay. So what you see here. Okay, correct, Shashi there. He's good, like he can relate everything very quickly. Yeah, correct, Charan. So in the first one, we saw one Rajinikanth, who is Robot 2.2. Whereas in this images, I can see like hundreds and maybe thousands of all the Rajinikanth 2.0 robots. Yeah, right, Logesh. That's an army. That's a clone, Charan. So you can see like multiple robots here, and everyone are doing some activity. Not everyone are doing the similar activity. Some are standing, some are waiting for something, and some are constructing and building something. All those things, but everyone are same. I can't find a difference between one robot to other robot, Rajini. So what this means, like, can someone find like in this who is that main robo who is controlling all other that robo army, where he is standing, whether he is on the left top or right bottom or in middle center or one of them in the crowd, which is the main robo you feel? Okay, Dilip, right. So okay, one who is in the front and one who is in the middle. Perfect. So let's jump into the technology. So here there are multiple robo Rajinikanth is available, and I can see one robo Rajinikanth who is controlling all the robo Rajini, and he is there. And for the few people, if you miss to see the movie, here will be a robo who will be cloning the other robo, and he will be generating and making use of the task. Same way, we call this main guy who is standing in middle, who is controlling all other robots, right? If you kill any of the robots at the back, still the main guy who is in the middle can generate new robots. But if you kill the main guy who is in the middle, you can't even find all other robots because all will be gone because they are all controlled by this main guy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this main robo who is in the front, who is in the middle as a class, and I'm going to call all the guys who are at the back and who is doing some activity as an object. So let me explain like what is class and what is object. So on the higher level, you should understand the guy who is in the front is a class, and he has a capability to clone or create something similar to him, but it is not him. Okay, and this guy is like a leader, and he is creating all the objects. He can create hundreds and thousands and everything. He has a capability to create all the objects, and everyone looks similar, and everyone has the same capacity as this main hero or villain robo, whatever you call it as. Like he has the same capacity of this class. So oh, like say one activity is there, you want to stand and build an bridge or wall, so all the robots are doing a wall construction. So that is all the objects which is doing the same construction, which is controlled by this one class. Same thing, you will have a class, and the class will create multiple objects, and that objects will be doing different kinds of activity based on the situation. Sometimes the object will be just like that, standing how the robots are standing down. Some will be constructing a wall, some will be shooting, some will be fighting, everything will be done. But when the class goes die, when you kill a class or when you delete a class, automatically the object or the replica which all created all will automatically die. Okay, that's what we saw in one of the concept of garbage collection. So the objects which are created and just like they're standing, and if that is not used, garbage collector will kill all the objects, not the class, all the objects. Okay, this is a comparison between class and objects. Are you clear with this, or any doubts? If you are clear, say yes. If you have doubts, say no. Or if you have questions, you can ask me. You can type in the chat box. So we have one class, and class has a capability to create multiple objects, and that objects has some functionality and it can satisfy all the functionality which is required. One can fight, one can run, one can dance, one can construct a wall. Whatever you say, it will do. Okay, but you say in the sense like you are instructing to do. Yeah, why if the main robot is killed, others are destroyed? In the movie it is the thing, right? Like this main robot is a hero or villain and he is controlling all the thing. Same way a class has control over the objects. Like class is the place where it has what to say, a life or something like that, and every other thing is just a child, or it is a part of that. Okay, class is the main from where the objects are created, which is nothing but the replication which is used for doing some activities. When the class is destroyed, then there is no base, right? Like there is no one to control, or what is happening you don't even know. The objects are becoming just a dummy space, so automatically the objects will be gone. Is that answered your question, Hari? Okay, good. So now we know what is class, what is object. So I'm saying class, class, class. So here I'm saying like this guy as a robo who is a class, right? But what that class do? What is inside this guy? Okay, that we have to see, right? So before going to that, I want to explain you a concept. So I have something shown in front of you. Can someone say like what it looks like or what it is? Have you seen this? Okay, a tablet. Yeah, it's a medicine, pills. Okay, capsule. Correct. Tube tablet. Okay. Any other answer? Okay. All the answers are correct. It's a medicine, but each medicine has something, something, right? Like similar way, we call this as a capsule. Okay. Capsule is nothing but like when you have multiple medicine, okay, there are some medicines which can be binded together. Say, for example, you are having an wheat flour and you are having an maida flour. If you want to mix both, you can mix. If you have some baking soda, you can put a bit to that and you can mix, so this all will get together. There is no issues. Okay, whereas like there are two components. Okay, there is a component like bread is there, and there is a component like sugar. When you mix both, it won't, it can stick together but it won't mix well. So what you will do, you will keep the bread and above that you will just sprinkle the sugar, something like that. Kind of like when you can't mix some tablets of different composition, they will take those things into one capsule. This is called as capsule. That white and red down what you have read, that is capsule. Inside they will put that whatever proposition medicine, and they will cap it in the sense just closing the capsule. So that is an English word, we call it as encapsulating. Okay, you are enclosing some of the medicine and you are going to press the capsule and close it, so that is an encapsulation process. So each capsule, always you can just go whatever capsule you have at home. If you open, there will be some small medicines, or some small and big medicines. There will be balls or there will be squares. Something will be there. So there will be different medicines into like inside a capsule. So this process of putting some medicine inside a round capsule and closing it is called as encapsulation. Is that fine? So same way in this is encapsulation is the same process where it is there in a oops. So I told like oops means object oriented programming has to follow some set of process, right? In that one thing is encapsulation. So what it will encapsulate? So here if you see, there is a white tablet, red tablet, and some jelly kind of tablet. All three tablets are closed into one capsule. Same way, there will be some set of things, like there will be property and there will be methods. These two are encapsulated together, and that is called as a class. Let me explain you here. When I say a person is a class means, so a person will have name, gender, and age. Okay. And apart from that, he will have some actions also. What will be the action? A person can run, a person can talk, a person can vote, a person can fight, a person can cry, a person can ride a vehicle, everything, right? That is all verb, that all behavior. Whereas features means like what are the properties. He will have a name, gender, age, and whether he will have some category. He will be tall, he will be short, he will be fat, he will be lean, he will be like something, all the physical things or whatever that we call it as properties of a person, right? But behavior is something what we call it as methods. He can talk, he can vote, he can run, all these things are behavior. So when I say person as a class, he will have two things. One will be properties, one will be the method. So properties we call it as a feature and method we call it as a behavior. So this is how a class will be created. Okay. Features are attributes. Yes, right, Sashida. So if you see, this is how we will say, like whatever class you can take, like if you're taking like a car will have color, model, make, year, diesel engine or petrol engine or whatever it is, electric vehicle, whatever, that all comes under features or attributes or properties. Behavior of a car will be starting a car, driving a car, stopping a car, braking a car. This all some functionality which is there. So this kind of activity we call it as behavior or methods. So each class will be having two category. One is properties, one is the methods, and both are encapsulated together and we call this as a class. Any doubt so far? So whenever you open a program.cs, an automatic class will be created and an automatic method called as a main method will be created. Still you can go ahead and you can add many properties and many methods to that class. Anyway, we will see that. Any doubt so far? You understood? Now, since everyone understood this concept, because there are no questions, so I will ask cat. This is a class. Okay. So what is properties and what is methods? Sorry, I think I posted for someone. I want to post to everyone, right? Can you answer for this? Like if cat is a class, then what would be the properties of a cat and what would be methods of a cat? If you answer this question, like that's very good. Like you understood the concept of class and lifetime you won't forget this. Okay, someone told like methods are eat and sleep. Yeah, cat can eat, cat can sleep. I agree. What are the properties? Okay, color of the cat and size of the cat, and cat can sleep and a cat can walk, or methods. Good. Okay. Okay, others they don't even know. So still they are not clear on what is class and what is methods and what is properties. Okay, good. I see like properties are like paw of a, okay, what is the color of the paw, or what is the color of the tongue of a cat, and method will be like walking and eating. Good. So who would answer this question? Like this is a basic concept and simple question, but I'm sure like at least if you get a chance to attend an interview in your campus, you will be like clearing that. I have that because you understood this concept very easily and very simple. Many of you may know this before. Okay. Now if you see, let's take the class and object. Okay. So now employee is a class and employee is having some properties and methods, and there will be an object. So when I say like employee is a common class, so employee will have employee name, employee ID, employee address, employee salary, all those things as properties. And he will have a method like employee working time, employee like production units or something, employee paid salary, something, all those things, right? Like employee taking a leave, that is also an action. So all this kind of methods will be there. So when I say employee E1, it is nothing but like one employee I'm mentioning. Like employee E1 will be one category, not like one object, like the name of the employee is E1. On the other part, like employee E2 will have a different one. Say, for example, if that is a student class, when I say like Kirti is one student, the name will be Kirti, and method will be like what is the exam result, and all those things will be the method. Whereas I'm taking another one like Logeshwaran as another student, he will have like gender will be different, and name will be different, and they will have some set of properties and methods. So the value changes, but the property and the method will remain the same. Are you clear on this? So now when I want to say like, okay, this student, what is the mark of the student? So get mark for this student, like that I can access. And when you create some programs, you will have this classes used and objects used, like what we saw on the robo example. There will be many objects will be created, and each object, like in a class, if you are having some 60 students, so there will be one class, okay, but each class will have 60 students. So here the entire classroom, like first year classroom, is called as a class in object oriented programming language, and each student of the class is called as an object. So each one will be different, okay. And if suddenly we are going to close that first year, we are saying like today there is no class for first year, automatically all the students won't come to the class, because there is no class at all, correct? The first year is closed. If one person is taking leave, there will be 59 students available. So what this means is like one object dies also, or one object is gone also, still the other objects will stay and class will be still functioning properly. If there are no students coming, but still a class will be functioning properly. College will have always a first year classroom, even though students are not available. But when college says like, no, I'm going to remove this first year for today, and everyone are like can take leave on that day, then automatically all the objects which the students will not come to the class. So class is an higher level, and the lower level which it has is objects. Any doubts so far? Any questions? Okay. If no questions, let me show you some example. um, okay, hope everyone can see the screen. So when I created a general programming console application, you can see a class. The class is having some methods. Okay. So what I'm going to do, let's keep this one same. I'm going to create another class. So that class is called as students class. Students of first year. Okay. So students of first year is my class name. So each class will have some properties, right? So usually what we will say, int student, or I will say like int roll number. Okay. So here if you see, one trick is you can either type as int roll number, or there is an easy method called as it is properties, right? You know this we are creating as properties, right? So in .NET, how this works is very simple way how you can create the properties is prop. If you type as property, something is showing as property, right? So just click on this property. Okay, can you see what happened? What I did, I just typed prop and it made double tap. So automatically it created, I will say what is this public later, int my property. My property will be roll number. This get and set also, it's a default one. It is an optional one. Either you can have this or you can just like that have normal one. In last week classes, we saw how to create this variable, right? Variables are nothing but the properties. Next one, prop, double tab. Here I'm going to say string because name will be string, right? And I'm going to say name. And I'm going to create one method. Say public non-static like var get score. So in this get score, what I will say for that student ID, say console.writeLine whole number score. Otherwise, I will say get name. Okay. So if you see, this is a class. It is encapsulated with properties and method. Method will be always an action. Okay. So get name or set name, or they commonly called as CRUD or CRUD. Okay. Usually they say as CRUD operation, but some people still I have seen using like CU or the CRUD operation. But I've seen only like some college side they use as CRUD, but on the IT they use as CRUD, which is the four operations are same. Okay. If you want to remember, you can remember as CRUD, and the actual is CRUD, which is nothing but creating, okay, reading, updating, and deleting. Okay. Whatever you see in your programming terminologies, only these four operation will be happening always. Like there will be search happens, everything, but either in a database, you can create a database, you can add one person, that is nothing but creating. You can search or you can get the data, so that is reading. You can go and modify the data, which is nothing but editing, that is update, or you can delete that person data. So only this four are the major functionality which will be happening. So this methods will always go with any one of these operations. Okay, search is nothing but, okay, yeah, I will say you the namespace in the movie. So this will be the main thing. So if you see, this is a class name, class is student, and it has two properties, roll number and a name, and the method will be this one. So what is mean by object? Let me show how to create an object. Okay, now this is main method, and this is student of first year is a class. So now I'm going to create one object for this. Okay, so I will say I'm going to create one object. That object name is obj. The object belongs to this class, student of year. And this is how you want to create. You want to use a new keyword, then only the system will understand you are going to create an object for this, and automatically it came, right? So I will put, so now This object is created for this class. I can't directly access a class. You can still access, but that is a different way. But usually classes are accessed through an object. So I created an object. Okay. It is like you can go and you can take your money and you can put in your bank. Okay, that is how, that is what the bank for. But you can't directly take on 10,000 rupees from your home. You can't walk inside a bank and you can't just throw the money inside a bank, right? It has to follow a process. Like you have to take a slip, you want to fill all the account details, and you want to go stand in a queue and you want to give to a teller, where he will collect the money and he will collect the paper and he will note down and he will store into your bank account. So even though when you say like I'm going for a bank to deposit amount, it is not just you will throw that one into a bank door and come back, or you will throw on the ATM and come back, correct? So similar way, you can access the object, but sorry, you can access the class, but you have to use an object. That is how it works. Okay, so now let's see what is there inside this object. If you dot right, you can see both the properties and methods name will be available. Okay, so now I can say name of the object will be SRM, and object roll number is 101. What mistake am I doing here? It is showing cannot implicitly convert type string to int. Can someone answer? We have seen this error before also. It's an error, right? So only it is showing us underline with red, and it's saying cannot implicitly convert type int to string to int. What mistake am I doing? Let's see who is that brilliant person in this gang. We need to typecast. Okay. Any other answer? What error it says? Cannot implicitly convert type string to int. Double quote means string. Okay, good. Any other answer? Quotations. Good. Anyone else? I agree with all the answer. So it is an integer one, but I'm using double quotes. So either I can convert or simple way is just to remove. Now I'm going to say like object dot get name and see what is going to happen. So what I did here, okay, so let me write console dot read line. So what I did here is it printed as roll number 101. What I gave here, name as SRM. So what I did here, I created an object for the class, and object dot property name I setted, object dot roll number I setted, and I'm saying object dot get name. And here, if you see that object dot get name is working fine. So let's see how the control goes. So first, every time when a class starts, it will come to the main. Okay. So now I'm using F10. So it is going to, let me close this. So it is going to next line. Then it is, now if we see an object is allocated. Okay. Till now the object was, let me stop and show you again. See now object is null because it's in this line only we are going to assign something to an object. So till now here it is null. Okay, object is null. When we go to next line, since we are using a new keyword, the object is assigned. So what is this object? It is class sample dot student of first year. So class sample is nothing but my solution name. Okay, the project name. class sample. So it is saying class name sample dot student of first year. That is the object created. Okay, that object will have one is name, one is roll number. Now name is also null, roll number also null because I not even assigned anything. Now in this line, I'm going to assign name first. When I executed this one, name is set. So if you see name is set, but roll number is still 0. So now again, when I execute this code, if you see here, name is SRM, roll number is 101, both are set. Okay. Now I say, go and get the name. What control will do? Let's see. So control comes to this one and it executes these two lines. Since here I'm using roll number and name, it is going and getting the property value. So get. So what it happened here, it went and made the values and it getted and it printed just here. So what we did now, we created a class. Class is encapsulated with a property and a method, and we created an object for the class from another class, and we access the property and method here, and we are able to do this. So in the real-time example, now they're asking you to integrate with Paytm for payment gateway. So you will have a code like this, and you will create an object for Paytm. You will add some libraries here related to Paytm. They will give some libraries that day we saw, I think so, in NuGet packages, PayPal and Paytm. So you will add the library, you will create an object for that library, and you will say like, okay, this is his UPI number and this is some username and password, and send money or get money. So it will automatically access. Here you have the class, but for that Paytm, that library will have some set of class. It will go through internet access and get the money from their bank, and it will come back and it will do the process. So this is how the class object will be used in real time. Any questions so far? Okay, let me answer to this question. Namespace. Okay, namespace is nothing but just how I told, like this is a class, right? First year class. So you all belongs to one college, SRM college, right? So this will be one namespace. If suddenly there is some other college students are coming, okay, and they are giving some data, okay, so say there is one another namespace saying some government college, and that is having some classes, public class, student of third year, and in that there will be like register number, something like this. And even though everything belongs to the same one, let me try to access here object 2. Okay, so if you see here, this is looking as black color, but this is looking as green color. When I move my mouse over that, it shows like class sample view dot student of year. Okay, whereas here it is not showing anything because the type or namespace student of third year could not be referenced, or you are missing. When you say namespace, you are totally taking out, like it is just to make some programs. Okay, whenever you create a solution or a project, the project name will be the namespace for your entire application. So internally system will understand like which part of code it belongs to, because single solution can have multiple projects. So to understand, like sometimes there will be a scenario, each project will have same name of classes. So just to differentiate between multiple names and system to understand all those things, they will have this namespace to categorize. Example, say for example, one student name is Rajini is available. So when I say like student Rajini has won an award like that, so I should say clearly say like a student Rajini from SRM college first year won an award, or I should say like student Rajini from second year SRM college. So why we are adding those namespace, just adding some information more to that to differentiate who is the student. Similar way, system follows this kind of thing. For each project, there might be a program classes, and that will have a main method, and the method name will be confusing for the system. When you say like get name, I can still have a get name method here also, correct? So to avoid all those confusion, they are using namespace. When I told an example like Paytm, so in the Paytm example, if you see, there will be, I am saying, so there may be the same method name what you're using, because we don't know, right? Every people will use the same thing. So system should not get confused and it should not throw error. To avoid those things, we are having this namespace. So what now I will do here, I have this all the namespace, system namespace, system.collection namespace. Same way, if I go here and trying to add a namespace called as government. Can you see here? So I added a namespace of some other project. Okay. But for sample, for make you understand, I kept here. So I went and added this government namespace here. Now let's come and see here. Student of the year belongs to class government dot student of year. So now this won't throw error. Rather, this should work the same way how the other object works. 2 dot get name. If you are a human being, and if I say like object dot get name, object 2 dot get name, since the names are same, you may get confused. You don't know which one to print where. But this is an system. It knows like this get name belongs to student of third year, where student of third year belongs to government class. And this object belongs to, this get name belongs to object of student of first year, and that belongs to sample dot student of first year. So when I run, it will execute this get name and print this value, and this get name, and it will print other values also. Let's see how this works. Is that answered your question? Okay. So let's see what is the output. When you handle a very big project, this namespace will help you a lot, because some places needs like same kind of method name and all those things, right? Sorry, there is some error. I missed to see that. Okay. Okay. So now I got both the get name. One is printing the roll number and name, one is printing the hi. So both the things are working. So when you create a very big application, there you can have multiple namespace and you can have multiple class, and each will have this method name. So it will all will don't get messed up and don't make confusion. So it is better way, and keeping your code clean, this will help a lot. Namespace. Any other questions? Okay, I think we can wind up here, because you can just go through this class and you can try some examples and you can see like how the objects created. And I'm stopping here. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Any general related to this session or the previous one, or anything. Any doubt? Yes or no? Okay. Then if no questions, then let's end our session today, because I don't want to, after this session, I don't want to confuse with the other concepts. So you can just take a look at this one. Okay. Have a wonderful week and good day. Bye bye. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Dear participants, I post this feedback link in this chat box. You have to fill it. So if you have any queries, you have to fill this query. I sent it to sir.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, just fill all the questions and give a exact feedback. And if you see like the way how I'm saying, if you can understand or not, you mentioned that also. Like if that is
Ah,
difficult or we want to try something else, also we can do that. Okay.
sure,
Thank you
sir.
so
Sure,
much.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Dear participants, I post this feedback link in this chat box. So you have to fill this feedback link.